This is the House Rules Committee hearing. And they were meeting about this return to government. I want to start with some of the barbs that were thrown. Let me start here. I'm going to get to the bad news for Republicans in a second.
Ms. Ansari, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome back from your 8 weeks of taxpayer-funded vacation. It's good to see you, and I hope
I'm going to interrupt you.
Republicans
I'm going to interrupt you, please.
Please.
I am sick and tired of hearing you all say we had an 8-week vacation.
That's exactly what happened.
I worked every day. I don't know about you, but I don't want to hear
every single
another
day as
soul
well. We all worked
say
every
that.
single day, and that's exactly what happened with Speaker Mike Johnson.
You're recognized.
I hope that you all enjoyed yourselves while American families looked at their letters from their health insurance companies, terrified that their insurance premiums were going to double or triple while the House was out of session for 53 days. That is unacceptable, Madam Chair.
Representative Yasmeen Ansari laid into Virginia Foxx's sorry ass because they don't like to hear about it. I'm sick and tired of hearing about how we're the bad guys. Maybe it's similar to Donald Trump and all of his criminal activity, how he's sick and tired of being prosecuted. Maybe if it didn't do criminal and maybe if you weren't this lazy ass party that listens to Mike Johnson tell you to go home and do nothing, maybe you won't have to be greeted with this kind of greeting from the Democrats that were waiting on your ass.
Hello, Madam Chair. Welcome back.
Hello, Ranking Member.
Long time no see. I hardly recognize you guys. Where the hell have you been? It's good to see you back back in the Capitol building. We've been looking everywhere for you guys. I mean, seriously, we were worried. We actually started handing out missing person posters. Nobody has seen you for 8 weeks. But hey, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm glad that you survived your nice 2-month paid vacation while Democrats stayed in Washington to try to end this shutdown.
Republicans were losing this battle over the health care subsidies so badly that even after they were handed this huge win by Senate Democrats, those 8, they're still mad. They're still mad because the narrative is going to stay the same. People knew the situation. They still know the situation. Matter of fact, all those Democrats, they will get themselves involved with the worst people in the country. The worst people in the country that did this. There's another indication as to why Democrats should have never given them anything that they demanded, because this is what they add on to it.
Lawmakers are not just voting to reopen the government, but they are also going to expand senators' ability to sue the United States government as well. That's because tucked into one of the spending measures that is expected to pass here tomorrow is a new provision that requires the Justice Department to tell Congress if it's investigating a lawmaker and if their personal information has been subpoenaed. Failure to do so could allow lawmakers to sue the government for up to $500,000. Notably, the provision is retroactive to 2022, meaning that it could immediately pave the way for those 8 Republican senators to file their own lawsuits after Senate Republicans said last month that the special counsel, Jack Smith, had obtained their phone records via subpoena in 2023 as he was investigating what happened with the January 6th attack.
So these Senate Republicans slipped in a provision in the new agreement to reopen the government that would allow them to sue the federal government for being investigated over things like their potential involvement in January 6th, $500,000 per instance. So this was slipped into the bill to reopen the government. It has nothing to do with reopening the government. What it has to do is stealing more money from American citizens in the name and in the likeness of their dear leader, Donald Trump. Here's Representative Neguse, a Democrat here in the House, talking about it with Tom Cole, Republican.
And this is the provision that essentially allows specifically 8 Republican United States senators to reap upwards of a $500,000 payday with respect to the phone record notice provision that they've added into the bill. You support that provision?
I didn't have anything to do with it, didn't have any knowledge of it.
Not asking if you have knowledge of it. Do you support it?
Yeah. Do I support the bill? Yes. Do I support every single provision of the bill? No.
You don't find this provision repugnant? I think most American people are going to find this pretty repugnant.
I was surprised to see it in the bill. I was unaware of it. It was not.
Why not work with us to remove it?
Right. Let's see what you do.
Well, we've got an amendment.
I will tell you this. I am very concerned, and actually Democratic senators said this. I think particularly of Senator Coons. I am very concerned that anybody whether they're in the House or the Senate, is singled out and not notified that their records are being subpoenaed. That concerns me a great deal.
And does that justify?
Now, did I know about this provision in the bill? No. Do I think it needs to be in a funding bill? Not particularly. But do I think getting the governments open is important? Yes, I do. But I was unaware of the provision, so.
You know, Republican Tom Cole couldn't give much less of a about these things in it. I mean, maybe it shouldn't be there, but I don't really care that much. Not necessarily should be there. But what he's definitely concerned about is the fact that these folks who were potentially involved with the planning and the execution on January 6th got investigated, legally investigated for their potential involvement. He's more upset about that than he is about the fact that they're trying to steal some more money from taxpayers because of their potential involvement. So here's more from Representative Magoo's talking about what is that they could do.
Well, there's an amendment that will be introduced I'm not asking a question. Mr. Chairman, not asking you a question. Let me finish my statement, and then you'll have an opportunity. There will be an amendment proposed to remove what I think is a deeply insidious provision. I think it is outrageous for these Republican senators to effectively guarantee themselves $1 million paydays. Retroactive provision in this bill that very clearly applies to them. The removal of all relevant immunity defenses on the part of the United States government. This is insanity to allow this provision to go forward. And I would hope that my Republican colleagues would join us in supporting the removal of this provision.
They're looking to potentially remove this provision. It was slipped in. It's already ready to be set and ready to go. But as people finally discovered it, this is where this is all breaking down. I missed that part because Nagus repeated it again. It's also retroactive. It's not like going forward. They can go back and be like, this just after January 6th, you guys investigated us. I get to now sue retroactively from up to a few $1 million, depending on every instance of being investigated for the things that they potentially did. I can now take some money retroactively. I want to remind you guys the situation that this economy's in and the situation that many Americans are in as they look to take more and more money from us. Here's Chip Roy. He's a Republican. Here he is talking about how disgusted he is that this is happening. Chip Roy, don't forget the name.
But the retroactive, potential to have dollars going to United States senators, when we've got American citizens, whether it was J6ers, whether it was people from the FACE Act, whether it was others that have also had the full force of the federal government through the Department of Justice targeting and coming down on them, and they're going to see, but you can slide in a provision in here for United States senators? Like, it is beside my comprehension that this got put in the bill. And it's why people have such a low opinion of this town. I am torn also, the gentleman from Georgia, because we need to fund the government and we need to get this passed. And I'm trying to figure out what we can do to force the Senate's hand to say you're going to repeal this provision and fix it without amending it here to then delay the funding of government, which we want to proceed to go move forward with. But that provision needs to get fixed. And we need to find a way as a body to get it fixed as soon as possible.
Chip Roy is incensed. Chip Roy is disgusted. Chip Roy says it's beyond my comprehension that these Republicans would do such a thing. Chip Roy, I'm going to say his name again. Chip Roy in this House Rules Committee is upset about what Republicans in the Senate did to try and slip in this provision to make some money. Chip Roy did that. And he said, we got to find a way. We got to find a way to do something about this. Force their hand and make sure that this is not in this provision. This provision is not in this new reopening bill. This is just the House Rules Committee. It's not the whole House. Obviously, it's a smaller room. And there's Democrats and there's Republicans in it. They had a vote on whether or not they should strip this provision, the same provision that Chip Roy and all of them said is disgusting, and I can't believe our fellow Republicans would do such a thing. I want you guys to watch how this vote went down to do exactly what it is Chip Roy and them just said that they want to do.
The question is on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. Ms. Leisure-Fernandez requests a recorded vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Fishbach. No. Mrs. Fishbach, no. Mr. Norman. Mr. Roy. No. Mr. Roy, no. Mrs. Houchin. Mrs. Houchin, no. Mr. Langworthy. No. Mr. Langworthy, no. Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Griffith. Mr. Griffith, no. Mr. Jack. Mr. Jack, no. Mr. McGovern. Aye. Mr. McGovern, aye. Ms. Scanlon. Ms. Scanlon, aye. Mr. Neguse. Mr. Neguse, aye. Ms. Leisure-Fernandez. Ms. Leisure-Fernandez, aye. Madam Chair.
No.
Madam Chair, no.
The clerk will report the total.
4 yeas, 8 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to.
They voted on an amendment to remove the very thing that Republicans, specifically Chip Roy, just said he's disgusted by. The thing that Chip Roy just said is the reasons why people hate this body and don't understand how Washington operates and how people hate us. Yet Chip Roy is on this House Rules Committee, voted against taking out the provision that does the very thing he's disgusted by. So did Virginia Foxx, who was triggered by Representative Ansari telling her, it's good to see you here, avoiding all kind of accountability and responsibility to your job. But they're disgusted by this whole thing, but they voted to keep it in. Does that make any sense? Or does that sound like this entire party is all about allowing these 8 Republican senators to steal more money from you? Does it sound like they're on your side, or does it sound like they just talk about it and do nothing else about it?
Every single Republican on the Rules Committee voted against my amendment, which would have stripped the Payola provision out of this bill. They voted to keep in the bill a provision that will send millions of dollars to senators' individual bank accounts. That is corruption. It is payola. They should have had the courage to stand against corruption, and they didn't. They voted down my amendment. Now we won't even get a vote on the House floor. It shows you where Republicans stand, and it's not with the American people.
She's right. All you have to do is highlight the horrific things that this party does, because they continue to do them, because they're looking to please their king. He's the only person that matters. And I was going to read this myself, but since she's got the names right in front of them, let Representative Fernandez continue to cook.
And we keep saying 8 senators. I'm going to say their names. We have 8 senators. Senators Graham, Johnson, Senator Blackburn, Senator Loomis, Senator Haggerty, Senator Hawley, Senator Sullivan, and Senator Tuberville. Let's say their names. Let's make sure the American people know who will get millions of dollars, because each violation will give you $500,000. And so they can claim violation. And when we say violation, that sounds like something went wrong. Let's make sure the American people know. These were subpoenas or inquiries by the FBI that were authorized by the courts, that were authorized by grand juries when they were looking into what happened around the January 6th insurrection. And the American people saw that this place was overrun by violent attackers. We were here. We were here. There were 140 law enforcement officers who went to the hospital. 140 police officers went to the hospital, and now we're going to pay senators, these 8 senators that I have called out, we're going to pay them millions of dollars.
Did you notice the information she also tossed in there? These folks that have been investigated, these 8 Republican senators that want to enrich themselves off of it, the way that they were investigated was after, and this is normal, but it sucks that you have to say it. These subpoenas were authorized by courts and also authorized by grand juries to investigate these specific folks. So they want to go around what courts already decided through a normal process of a judicial process of investigating people for potential crimes, and they want to then sue the government for those investigations that were done legally for their potential illegal operations. Sounds like the criminals are running this place, and the criminals are making their illegal activity suddenly worthwhile to them getting paid for conducting, and then saying that investigating their criminal activity is illegal. It's crazy how quickly a 34-time felon in the White House, the trickle down effect that Republicans always talk about is actually the trickle down effect of open criminal activity.